Edward Henry Weston, March 24, 1886, January 1, 1958, was an American photographer. He has been called one of the most innovative and influential American photographers and one of the masters of 20th century photography. Over the course of his 14 years 14-year career, Western photographer West, Weston photographed an increasingly expansive set of subjects, including landscape, still life, nude, portraits, genre scenes, and even whimsical parodies. It is said that he developed a quintessential, quintessentially American and especially Californian approach to modern photography because of his focus on the people and place of American West. In 1937, Weston was the first photographer to receive a Guggenheim Fellowship, and over the next 2 years, he produced nearly 1,400 negatives using 1,400 negatives using his A10-view camera. Some of his most famous photographs were taken of the tree and rock at Point Lobos, California, near where he lived for many years. Weston was born in Chicago and moved to California when he was 21. He knew he wanted to be a photographer from an early age, and intentionally his work was typical of the self-focused Victorianism that was popular at the time. Within a few years, however, he abandoned that style and went on to be one of the foremost champions of highly detailed photographic images. In 1947, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and he soon stopped photographing. He spent the remaining 10 years of his life overseeing the printing of more than 1,000 of his most famous images. Life and work. 1886-1906. Early life. Weston was born in Highland Park, Illinois, and the second child and the only son of Edward Burbank Weston, an obstetrician, and Alice Janice Reed, a Shakespearean actress. His mother died when he was 5 years old, and he was raised mostly by his sister Mary, whom he called Mary or Macy. She was 9 years older than him. She was 9 years older than he, and they developed a very close bond that was one of the few steady relationships in Weston's life. His father remained when he was 9, but neither Weston nor his sister got along with their new stepmother and stepbrother. After May was married and left their home in 1897, Weston's father devoted most of his time to his new wife and her son. Weston was left on his own much Weston was left on his own much of the time. He stopped at go to school and withdrew his own room in their large home. As a present of his 19th birthday, Weston's father gave him his first camera, a Kodak Bullseye No. 2, which was a simple box camera. He took it on vacation in the Midwest, and by the time he returned home, his interest in photograph was enough to lead him to purchase a used 5H 7-inch view camera. He began photographing in Chicago parks and a farm owned by his aunt, and developed his own film and print. Later, he would remember that even at that early age of his work showed strong artistic merit. He said, "I feel that my early work of 1903, though immature, is related more closely, both with technique and composition, to my latest work than are several of my photographs dating from 1930 to 1920, a period in which I was trying to be artistic." In 1904, May and her family moved to California, leaving Weston further isolated in Chicago. He earned a living by taking a job as a local department store, but he continued to spend most of his free time taking photos. Within 2 years, he felt confident enough in his photography that he submitted his work to the magazine Camera and Darkroom, and in the April 1906 issue, they published a full-page reproduction of his picture Spring Chicago. This is the first known publication of any of his photograph. In September 1904, Weston took part in the men's double American round archery event at the 1904 Summer Olympics, with his father also taking part of the same event. Ooh.